statements that he made in relation to colonization are very misplaced. The work of the ambassador, I've worked in a Cyprus embassy, and I learned that the work of the ambassador is to advance and support the interests of the government and the partnership between the two governments. You can only criticize the government when the government is not advancing your interests. So Kenya is a key ally, military. Kenya, the reason why we were getting a lot of negativity and terrorist attack, it's because it is because of Kenya provided the Americans and the West with military satellites in Kenya. So Kenya is the strategic point in terms of military position of these other countries, and that is why the people like those who targeted us thought that we are in bed with their enemies, and they thought that they can attack us so that we can try and get away with these enemies. But let me tell you, Leo, sometimes we are so blinded. The Kenyan government, the Kenyan police, the elite teams are trained by the Americans, are trained the SWAT team. If you didn't know that Kenya right now is training a massive training of the SWAT teams. They are being trained by the Americans. The military, the Kenyan military, trains and hand in hand with the American military. And so we benefit a lot from the Americans, and hence we have very good diplomatic relationship. Number two, Kenyans have the opportunities and privileges to work and live in the United States of America, where we have, over a period of time, we have seen that a lot of revenue that is Kenya as a country or as an economy receives a lot of revenue from countries such as America. So why then are we calling them colonists when one Raila Amolo Odinga was recently in the United States enjoying the serenity of that very same country or same people that is calling colonists, colonial masters. So it is hypocritical that Raila, he calls the people who are criticizing or people who are speaking their mind as colonial masters when his children went to school in those very same countries. So we are so blinded as a people to follow. If I'm upset, Leo, for example, if my family, for example, if I don't like you, it doesn't mean my wife shouldn't like you. Okay? If I don't support your thinking, it doesn't mean I carry and and hold the views of my wife. So for me, what I'm saying is that the diplomatic relationships, the country and her comments solely, I found them very beneficial for our country because she spoke of economical points and how Kenya is economically and poised to benefit Kenyans and international and foreign investors to come and invest in our country. So let us, when we say certain things, we should think of the implications. Kofi Annan came to Kenya and told us choices have consequences. And indeed, every choice that we make have consequences. Every comment that we make have consequences. And if today Raila is banned to go to the United States, he will be the very first person to complain and cry for like a baby. So Raila should apologize to the government of the United States.
You say, just hold it there. I will come back to you with a question that if somebody, I know America is doing all this to us, but does that not allow them to micromanage our politics and play around with our feelings? Because right now, we are having a country that is divided in halfway. We are having half who believe in this, and we are having half who believe the elections were fairly won, and we are having half who believe that the elections are not fairly won. So as somebody who is independent, what do? Do you try to bring these people together, or you take sides? Because by confirming that the elections were fairly won, it simply means you are now sidelining the other group and telling them that you are wrong. I'm joining another group. Oh, I wanted to welcome David, but it seems he dropped. So maybe
but
you can
but
just
but
give your last
Leo,
comment on that before we look at the next
L-
item. Yeah.
Leo, Kenyans are very funny. You know, America got to elections.
Yeah.
It was hotly contested between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and the Kenyans were the very number one people on Twitter commenting on which side they wanted to win. All right, at that time, why were they poking their nose in the American business and the American elections and giving their opinions? And the Americans never responded and
You
never
said
even.
well. They were
So, so,
Kenyans who were
so
commenting. These were ordinary Kenyans who are speaking at a personal level. If I comment today, we say I'm an ordinary Kenyan. That is my opinion. But we did have the head of state. And in this case, the head of state is represented by an ambassador. Our head of state is represented into all these countries that we're having some diplomatic relationship by ambassadors. So even when
how
ambassador
how
goes to
does
that place, the image. So the ambassador holds some weight. If a normal American just makes a comment, even a socialite American makes a comment, it doesn't hold any weight. But if an ambassador makes a comment, you know the weight it has.
Leo? Leo, this is really
People,
funny.
I don't know if I'm
Leo,
the only one who believes that they're trying to micromanage us, like they're trying to make decisions, because it is true. From her comment, I
what
can tell you there are many people who will tell you that kama America wameshasema Ruto alishinda, sasa mimi ni nani? You get it? So that is how weight it is.
let me tell you something.
With
Um,
the perception that,
let me ask you,
yeah.
Leo, let me ask you, how were how were her comments of saying, in fact, our opinion that the general election of August 2022 was fair and credible. How is it an indication of micromanagement? How is it a suggestion of micromanagement? It is just a stupid statement. It is just a statement. Like I can get you and see and say, "Hey, Leo, you look good." That's it. That statement ends there. So tell me how saying that the general election of August 2022 was fair and credible, an indication of micromanagement. Please help me understand, Leo.
Can you hear me?
I mean, now I can hear you. I'm just wondering if
Great.
you
So
had
it's
my
simple like
question.
this. I've had your question. It is simple like this. Saying that the elections were free and fair and they were fairly won is a confirmation. America is a superpower. It is believed to be one of the most democratic nations or countries in the world. Uh, it's believed that Americans are perfect, and actually, most people will always use them as an SI unit, yeah, when you want to compare perfection. So anything Americans say, like today, if somebody tells you that this medicine is approved in America, it is an American, you won't doubt it. So saying that is trying to sell a perception to these people who believed that the elections were not fairly won. You are trying to perceive them, you are trying to convince them and tell them that no, the elections were fairly won. So you have to agree with this, because if you don't agree with this, then we as Americans are not going to maybe give you some of the benefits or some of the goodies that you expect to come from us. So you are coercing them to follow a certain belief that they did not believe in. walk around, if you walk around the streets today, you'll hear some people saying that, oh, Americans already confirmed that Ruto won, so that is it. So anyway, that is there. But moving forward, we need to limit some of the activities of these Americans
No,
by giving. We don't need to
no,
give them much attention.
hang on. I think, I think,
Okay.
uh, I think you are not being sincere. All right. Um,
All right.
let's go back. How American ambassadors have contributed to the economy of Kenya. Who was Michael Josephs?
No, no, no. Nobody's disputing
No,
that.
no. I'm
Nobody's
asking
disputing
you.
that.
No, just answer the question. I've not asked you to dispute
Yeah.
or to validate. Who was Michael Joseph?
Yeah. Michael Joseph, as far as what nationality or what?
What was his role? And how did he find himself
The
in
C
Kenya?
Safaricom?
What did he do during his Safaricom, during his tenure in Safaricom?
I think he did some tremendous achievements as far as communication and transfer of money is concerned, and ensured that the entire country and
Leo,
start saying
listen to
people will
yourself.
be sending money for free.
Listen to yourself.
Nobody,
L-
if you tell people to boycott,
Leo, listen to yourself the way
yeah.
you answered this question. Um, I think he was, you know, he was.
No, I'm saying
You are not being
today, if you tell
forthright.
somebody, but ask, what about M-Pesa?
You're not being forthright. Let me tell you. Where between Mimi and Wewe, I know we are having a show, we are having a debate, but I can tell you, Raila was wrong about this. As a statesperson, he wouldn't have called the rogue ambassador. His speech would have been something like this: we respect our partner and our key allies' opinion, but Kenya stands as a sovereign state and makes its decisions at and using the systems that are in place. And we do not agree, or we will not allow foreigners to um, affect or uh, deviate our systems and our sovereignty to their thinking or their liking without necessarily coming out forthright attacking the ambassador. The ambassador marketed our country. You know, any international investor or any foreign investor who was looking at Kenya, the ambassador gave comparisons between South Africa. If given an option in terms of taxes, in terms of I think shipping, if I looked at the presentations, everything was favoring Kenya and Africa. And the question was, why Kenya? So why didn't we focus on the big picture of what she did for our country and using the same argument that you're using, that America is trusted, that whatever they recommend, whatever they say that this is right, a lot of people will believe in them. Now, if they have recommended, if she recommended Kenya, that Kenya is a destination for investment, why don't we take that as as a positive and give credit and say, no matter, regardless of certain things that you say that we do not agree with you, because we are a sovereign state, we want to commend the time, the time and the ingenuity that you took to make such a wonderful presentation marketing our country. How about that, Leo, if you are honest?
All right, I get you. You're cornering me. But when we now look at it, if you look at it in a different context, you'll find that there are much things that he said that make sense. But you also agree with me. If you look at, it's not only people's opinion. History have proved that America cannot build a country. They only serve their interest. When America calls you for a meeting, they don't ask what is there for you. They ask what is there for themselves. Remember when Joe Biden called African leaders, you saw our President Ruto going there. What did he say? He went there to present Africa as a market for American products, American companies, and American technology. But he didn't go there to present Africa for some opportunities that now you see in Africa we are producing these. Americans, can you give us the market? So in America, they don't discuss that. They discuss what is there for them. Unlike other countries like China, and you'll agree with me that most of the Africa experienced some tremendous development in the last past 1 year. They'll give you expensive laws. That is true. But the laws they're going to give you are going to be specifically for development. Americans will under such things. That's like somebody anakuja, it's like somebody coming to your funeral kuchanga pesa ya kukuzika, but they don't develop any country. That's a fact. They don't develop you. They will help you when you're in disaster, but they will not help you to develop yourself. So when it comes to as a matter of development, I think we should not be facing West. We need to change.
That's actually that's that is not actually a true statement. That is actually misleading. The country. Let us be honest. Where is where is United States? Sorry, where is where is United uh, in Nairobi, in Gigiri? How many American organizations that we have there? Where is UNACTAD? Where is United Nations? Where is these organizations that you see that are American based? When they come to our country, there is a trickle down effect, regardless of their positions. When the Americans are training, we are benefiting. Exchange program, we are benefiting from them. Equally, they are benefiting from us. It is business. Maybe one person who is smarter than the other will benefit than the other. It's a man eat man society. But we do now have options to the east. It is because of our lack of organization and good leadership or governance that has made us or has positioned us to be vulnerable in order to be extorted or to be taken advantage of. Think about countries that have formed a bloc. And this is why when the presidents, when African presidents were called, I think it is, I think, I don't know, I don't remember if it's to the US or Europe, and they were bundled in a bus, you know, to go and meet, I don't know, or go to some sort of meetings. They were really upset. When they came back, they started having
No,
a different.
that all happened. They went to the burial of the queen.
Yes. So when they came back,
That's the
they
time they were
started.
put in a bus, yeah? Yeah.
Exactly. When they came back, they started having a different. They were provoked. They started having a different conversation. They are now talking about a united Africa, of a the borderless Africa. So these are some of the things that are provoking us to grow. When you look at economical blocks, Africa has not formed an economical bloc. When Brazil, India, China, Russia, and South Africa were not recognized, at the international community in terms of their contribution, in terms of their labor, in terms of their population. What did they do? They formed a bloc called uh, it's called the BRICS. You know, so that is why they have started negotiating.
Yeah, the
Now they,
bricks, I know.
yeah, now they can be hard because they formed a bloc and they have a bargaining power. Now that's why Africa, the presidents of Africa, have started realizing how stupid they have been taken advantage of. That is why Kenya, when during the time of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, looked to the east and went to China, and that's why China has dominated in our country. And that's why the Americans went all over around saying, do not trust. When Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State, she went to a tour for all
But do
around
you
Africa
think
saying, do not trust
African
China.
nations are going? Do you think African nations are going to trust China
Leo, I can't hear you, but I know your network is coming. So there are many ways we benefit from uh, these countries that we have diplomatic relationship with, and it is important that we safeguard that kind of diplomatic relationship because that those relationships safeguard our country. And Leo, let me tell you, if you are back, I don't know if you are back. Let me tell you something. Kenya has United States as a backup. If today we are attacked, if we have external attacks, United States is our ally, is our backup that will respond within the shortest time. You have seen during the bombings, you have seen during the terrorist attack, you have seen during tragedies, United States has been there. But what am I saying? Are they fair? Are they saints? They are not saints. They have committed some atrocities. They are known to have committed some crimes. But when you have an older brother in the house, in one way atakunyanyasa or the other, and that is why United States has positioned itself as a huge economy, 300 million people, with the strongest army. They will tell you. Let me tell you something. United States will realize a potential in you. They will buy you. They will nurture your potential. They will maximize and make use of you, and make sure that they have empowered you and they have they have nurtured you. The problem with Africa is that
now,
we
that's what I
don't
was
nurture our
asking you.
talents.
If you got me, do you think it will be possible for the African leaders to form a unitary outfit that can enable them to have some joint bargaining power? I think this is a dream that we won't be able to realize unless we stop the Western countries and the Eastern countries from interfering with our political setup. Majorly, the major
I
interferers
think
are
you are
from West. For
accusing.
example,
I
America.
think you are
Sorry,
accusing. I think you are accusing the
no,
Western and the Eastern.
I'm not
Why are
accusing.
you accusing
Look
them?
at what's
Look at
happening in the African country. Whenever there is an election, the interested parties will always want somebody who will serve their interests, and this is what is stopping Africans from uniting. For example, is that there is an election in Uganda. US will have their interest. Maybe Russia will have their interest. Look at what is happening in Nigeria right now. So these all interference from the outside countries. So the first thing is that Africans should now say that our political setup should be managed locally so that we get the right leaders, so that when they go on the table, if Americans want this and they don't like it, they'll say no. But there's no way a president who been supported, his election have been aided by Russia, will be able to go against Russians. They'll tell him, look, we're the ones who put you in
but
that place. We're the ones who reeved you in. Can't you see the subject over there?
Leo, you are not sincere. You're not sincere with these comments because even America, they claimed that Putin was
I'm not
support
speaking
was
for Kenya. I'm
supporting.
not saying that.
Hang on. So you are talking about Africa, but
Yeah.
even in Europe and North America, we still have the same problem. The Americans said that Putin was interfered with the American election. Okay, now if you go back to the history, you will realize that Muammar Gaddafi was supported either by the Americans or France or Russia to get to power. If you go to Fidel Castro, was supported by certain people to host the president then. So every country, at any time, each country have their own interest. Even us, as a country, as in Kenya, when there are elections in Uganda, the president, the sitting president, has a liking, has a preference of who he would wish to be in power. So this is not just a problem for Africans alone, but the problem for Africans and the reason why we cannot succeed and we never succeeded is because we have
Miss, have you been frozen, or I'm the one who is having some challenge from my end because I can't be able to hear you? Just confirm if you, or somebody can just confirm on the comment section if you're able to get Miss. Yeah.
liking as a preference of who he would wish to be in power. So this is
Miss. Oh, okay, okay. I think you got disconnected, but it's okay. He'll come back. Guys, karibuni sana na muweze kukaribisha wengine so that we can have this candid discussion. What you're looking at, we are just looking at the roles of ambassadors. This is after what happened yesterday in the second day of the devolution conference. We managed to see the Azimio, our party leader Raila Odinga, calling out the US ambassador to keep off the Kenyan affairs and telling her that she needs to shut up because if she doesn't shut up, they'll call for her recall. So this, I think we've discussed this, we've weighed the options, and maybe
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
having some
I
valid
was
points. So
saying, yeah, I was
yeah.
saying that the the African leaders cannot the unity they are forging. It's far away from the reality because of their greedy nature. The African always I've always wanted they always it's about me. If you look at the leaders now, who are the presidents who are in Africa now, everyone thinks they are the best. Maybe Kagame thinks I am the best, and so I should be the African, or I should be the pioneer, or the person who started this kind of talks. Everyone, William Ruto is admired by his suggestions and the discussions. You can see that a lot of African leaders are warming up to him, and many other people. Now the talk is borderless Africa or African country that is borderless. Now, I'll tell you, the, if there was a time that we could have united more than ever, it was the time of Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi gave a lot of money to every country in Africa, in, in an effort to unite Africa. But we were not ready at the time to unite. We even turned against Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi even gave money for us to have a reserve bank that is actually for Africans so that we could have a block and negotiate, that have a negotiating power. So, but this has not worked. Look at when Robert Mugabe started. He started very well. Look at Hugo Chavez when he started. He started very well. Look at every president who came in the unity of, with the call of uniting Africans, where did they end? Because they know Africans are their own enemies. We fight each other. We want to amass wealth and go and invest in foreign countries and not invest. We steal from Africa and invest in those foreign countries. And after investing in foreign countries, what happens? We keep benefiting the foreign countries. But now I can see Colonel Ochuka is here. And when the colonel is in the house, all the juniors by rank and file must cease and desist when the colonel is in the house. Let me hold on when the colonel is in the house.
Yeah, today I'm very happy. Naona tuko na show asubuhi, nimefurahia sana. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm just here. Tunapambana. We want to support the show na the debate. So hope tuko pamoja. That's why nimesikia tuko online nikasema acha niingie haraka haraka.
You are welcome. I think Leo is having some connection challenges, so
Yes,
you can proceed.
yes. The debate
Colonel,
nimeona ni
you can just
about
proceed. We'll just have to take our seat.
yes. It's about the ambassadors, eh? Leo.
It is about the ambassadors and the police.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the rogue police are how are the position are the police taking commands from the rogue commanders, or the police have the responsibility to act responsibly, whether in private or in public? I think that was if I've not I've not paraphrased it wrongly.
Because when we have
You're
rogue
right. You're
police,
right.
when we have a rogue police, it means the rogue police get some orders. Apart from them being given orders, they follow what they call above, order from above. If you look order from above inatoka kwa nani kama si president. So wale waliua watu Kisumu, you can check, si wananchi, ni polisi. Then unapata mtu kama ambassador wa US anakuja kwanza saa hizi kwenye tunajua hata tusaidii because yeye anafanya kazi na the government of the day. The government that is there ni Samoei. So you find it's like now they're sleeping together. Everything they do wanafunika tu. That is why you had Baba yesterday was telling them that look, the issue that we have here ni beyond wewe. Wacha sisi to solve issues zetu kama sisi. Wewe nyamaza, sisi tuendelee na issue zetu, because you find our ambassadors, I think most of them, I think ni wanasum tu kwa swimming pool, kula vizuri, gari nzuri, ofisi mzuri. I don't think there's anything wanasaidia nayo. If there's anything wanasaidia nayo serikali ni kufunika maneno isitoke nje. Whatever Baba said yesterday, as we speak right now, all ambassadors wamesikia na watakuwa kwa meeting leo, because it's high time. Kila nchi iko na opposition, kila nchi iko na government, but hakuna venye ambassadors wewe umeletwa Kenya na unaenda una lean na government. Anything government inafanya hata kama ni baya unasema ni mzuri. Government iliua Wajaluo. Those people were killed, most of them were Luos, and most of them were in the house, walikuwa kwa manyumba zao wanafanya vitu zao. Unasikia walipata paka watu wanalala, unalala, unarushwa, unapigwa, like that woman mwenye alipoteza watoto wawili, eh? Amekuja akabembeleza polisi kwa gate, hawa ni watoto wangu, saa ya maandamano huwa waendi. That police told that mama, wewe unajua aje? Unajua, na walipatikana wakilala. Unazika watoto ambayo hawakutoka kwa maandamano, unazika watoto ambayo polisi walikuja wakachokoza kwa nyumba zao. The reason why we have a rock police, hata saizi me and you we are here working. Mimi wanadhani kujia wanaambia Cornell twende, atoi badge, atoi anything. Ukiangalia gari ambayo unajaribu kupiga picture uone kama inaweza kuwa traced, unapewa namba ya Congo, polisi anakimbia na gari ambayo iko na number plate ya Congo, haijulikani hata hapa, na ni apart from them being a GK, you find wanakuja na funny number plates, and that is the problem we have in Kenya. The police are not working the way wanafaa kufanya kazi. Yet kesho hao ndo wanaimba inafaa tuwe karibu na polisi, wala tunaona sijui polisi anafanya crusade wapi. Hizo ni PR. Hizo ni PR. We know the government they do that. That is what mimi najua. Ambassadors wanaweza kusaidia, hata sijui ni nini wanafanya huko Kenya.
That's true. Cornel, that is what I was telling people. Tuko na ambasada wengi, wengine hata hatuwasikiangi, hatuwajui majina, wanakuja, wanaretire, wanarudi. So why is it always American? And I've referred me say back in 1990s when Bush was the president and appointed this Smith, the former New York Times editor, as ambassador. And when he came to Kenya, that is the time that Moi, I think, really neutralized Kenyans. And that's the first time that the name rogue ambassador came out in play. And people called him out and say, oh, Kenya is having some rogue ambassador. So Raila is not the first person to use the term rogue ambassador. It was used before by some independent individuals who really realized that Smith was a rogue ambassador. He came to Kenya, aided Moi in committing the crimes that he committed against Kenyans. Corruption was rampant. Kenyans were brutalized. You could not even write, even the news articles, you don't even write anything negative about Moi, under the watch of Smith, who was representing Bush in Kenya. So it's high time we need to call these people and tell them that sisi, kuna yale mambo mengine tunafaa kudila au sisi kama wa Kenya. Mambo ya elections, umekuja Kenya, unaanza kusema elections ilikuwa free and fair. And the only point that she got connected to elections ni kuamka kuangalia TV, ameona watu wamejaa kwa line. So that is not enough for her aanze kusema oh, elections ilikuwa poa kwa sababu watu walijaa kwa line. Elections in Kenya is not about kupanga line. The process was okay, but now we know what happens. So we as Kenyans tunaelewa na tumejua ni kwa nini tumefika hapa. It's not the first time. So kuja kutuambia elections ilikuwa sawa kwa sababu watu walikuwa peaceful kwa line, it doesn't make sense. Hiyo inaonyesha kuwa them as Americans, they've decided they want to micromanage our politics. They want to decide to us what is fair and what is unfair. They want to define for us fairness and unfairness. Na tufai kukubali kitu kama hiyo. So anybody maybe who is thinking that Raila did wrong, lacked some respect, I think that is not true. What Raila did was right.
Even if you take a look at it, unapata ambassador anatoka kwa nyumba, anatolewa jam mbele, unadhani anaenda kwa ofisi, anaenda kunywa bia mbili mahali, because yeye ni ambassador, anatembea na gari ambaye ni Hummer.
Imagine.
Alafu wewe unadhani and that is why Raila said msikuwa mnaachia watu barabara. Mkiona mtu anakuja wewe, hakuna kama si ambulance na fire station, hao wengine zuia tu barabara, because jamaa kama president mwenyewe alikuja akasema aje, mimi nimeamka niko na meeting na nyinyi, nimeamka saa 1, wewe unanikujia kwa meeting saa 3. Sasa unashangaa wale watu walikuja late, wako na nini za kuwatolea jambo bara. So unashangaa walikuwa wapi? Then unakuja unapata ambassadors pia wanafanya hivyo. Wanaenda kuchukua beers, wanaenda kulala na wasichana, anaachiliwa barabara. Unaona? So hata ambassadors mnasema mko na ambassadors hapa Kenya. Hakuna. Because kama wewe ni ambassador, act kama ambassador. Enda kwa ofisi, kuja kwa Ocean ambassador mgana ameenda Kibira, Kayole, Kawangware. Niambie nani ashaona ambassador yote amekuja kwa ground Kibira, Kayole, Mathare. Kuna ambassador ashaenda slums? Kuna ambassador ashaenda slums? Kama si mambo na state house na hizi wedding na nini wanakukunywa tu mabia hapa na kulipwa na kuishi kwa manyumba kubwa na kupewa security kubwa za wa Kenya. Ambassadors hawakuji. Wale watu walikufa Kisumu, ambassadors walifanya tu uchunguzi. Uliona ambassador yote huko? Na I know Kisumu tuko na embassy moja, walienda. So let us watuache kujidanganya. It's high time tuseme tu kweli ambassadors wasaidie. Ambassadors wote ambao tunawaona hapo, I don't think watusaidia sana. Kazi yao ni kuachwa barabara, kwenda kutafuta rembo na kwenda kulewa.